Cypress Financial Group presents the Retirement Roundtable Podcast with John Scallan. Get more at cypressfinancial.net. Now, let's get to the show.
John, before we get into it, another reminder that you can meet the adults looking to get some retirement strategies and information in not one, but two locations for Cypress Financial. Where can we find you?
Mark, in the heart of Metairie, North Causeway Boulevard, on the North Shore, on Florida Street. And just for the record, we have spent the past few days meeting with all of our great clients in Lafayette. We've got a nice little group in Lake Charles. This morning, I was in Baton Rouge, Prairieville, over to Geismar, Gonzales. Again, we've got clients not only throughout the great state of Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Texas, South Carolina. Again, it has been what a gift to be able to work this entire Gulf Coast region.
We've been talking about how to spring clean your retirement portfolio. And recently we talked about revisiting your retirement goals, decluttering your accounts, checking your fees, updating your beneficiaries. You can hear all that with the Retirement Roundtable podcast. It's at the homepage of cypressfinancial.net. But John, let's talk about that evil, dirty 5-letter word, taxes. Taxes. John, tax strategy is a part of spring cleaning. I feel like most people think about taxes once a year in April and then just forget about them.
It is a significant challenge, Mark. Let me put it that way. I mean, the decisions you make about your retirement accounts today, they have real tax consequences that play out over the next, let's call it 20 or 30 years. Mark, most people are completely unaware of what's coming.
Hold on, wait a minute. What's coming? All right, John, when you say that, what do you mean what's coming?
Mark, think about a traditional IRA or 401k. Every single dollar in that account has never been taxed. The government has been a silent partner in that account for your entire working life. And let me say this, let me frame this correctly. They've been waiting patiently to collect. Mark, at 73 years old, your required minimum distributions, whether you need the money or not, are starting to come out. Those, again, are called RMDs, and they get added to your income, which can push you into a higher tax bracket. It can trigger higher Medicare premiums and even make more of your Social Security income taxable.
As much as we'd love to say we retire and the IRS goes away, not so fast. The tax bill doesn't go away just because we clock out for the last time, John.
It does not, my friend. You know, for a lot of people, it actually gets bigger in retirement. And Mark, here's what spring cleaning looks like from a tax perspective. We look at what you have in traditional IRAs versus Roth accounts, and we ask, does it make sense to do some Roth conversions now while you're in a lower tax bracket? Pay a smaller tax bill today to protect yourself from a larger tax bill down the road.
Yeah, but who are we talking to, John? Who does that actually make sense for?
Mark, generally people who are in what we call a gap year. They're retired, but not yet taking Social Security or early in retirement before those RMDs kick in. That window is often the lowest tax bracket you'll be in for the rest of your life. Converting some of that traditional IRA to a Roth during that window can save your household literally tens of thousands of dollars in taxes over time. But Mark, and to all of our listeners out there, you have to plan for it. It doesn't happen automatically. It takes strategy. It takes thought. It takes really detailed planning. That's why it's so important to sit down and establish a plan.
You mentioned earlier about converting some of that IRA to a Roth during a specific window could potentially save thousands of dollars over time. And John, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the problems you run into a lot is most people don't realize that there is a window. That window exists, and we need to take advantage of it.
Mark, the numbers never lie. You opened the show talking about the retirement analyzer. Again, this is very comprehensive planning. This is really getting granular in terms of your income, your expenses, your tax bracket, and specifically for this conversation, when is the right time to do Roth conversions? That's the spring cleaning moment. Look at your tax picture now while you still have options. 504-732-1001. We will walk you through your specific situation and show you exactly where the opportunities are. Remember, initial meetings are always complimentary.
It's like the three key pillars that John focuses on daily. We're always thinking about risk, always thinking about taxes, always thinking about income. So as we have a conversation this week about spring cleaning your retirement portfolio, maybe it's time to refresh your income plan, John, because this one feels like the heart of the whole spring cleaning conversation. You got all this money saved up, but John, at some point it has to become income. How often do people actually have a plan for that?
You know, Mark, we see it occasionally, but sometimes, or I would say the majority of time, folks just have not connected the dots. Saving for retirement and building a retirement plan are two completely different skill sets. And most people are really good at the first one. They contribute to their 401k. They watch the balance grow. They work through the downturns in the market and keep saving. But, you know, turning that balance into a reliable monthly income, that's a completely different skill and a different equation.
You know, in your industry, we hear that phrase a lot. Let me build an income plan. Let's put income to work for you. But let's break it down, John. What does a real income plan actually look like?
Great question, Mark. And, you know, it starts with identifying every income source you have. Social Security, any pension, any annuity income. From there, you look at your monthly expenses and find the gap. The gap is what your portfolio, what you have in the market has to cover. And then the question becomes, how do you cover that gap in a way that's sustainable, in a way that's tax efficient, and in a way that doesn't leave you exposed if the market drops by 30% in year 2 of your retirement?
And unfortunately, a lot of people, correct me if I'm wrong, just assume that portfolio, it handles everything automatically.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes they do. They figure, I'll just pull from the account when I need it. But without a strategy, you might be pulling from the wrong account first and creating an unnecessary tax bill. You might be pulling at a rate that is not sustainable, or you might be sitting on too much cash out of fear and miss the growth in the market that you need for the long term.
John, is there a number people should be targeting for when you mention that gap? Is there a number they should be looking at?
You know, quite frankly, it's different for everyone, which is why the plan has to be personal. But here's what I tell people. If your guaranteed income already covers your essential expenses, we're talking housing, food, utilities, healthcare, then your portfolio is there for the life you want to live, not the life you have to live. That's a fundamentally different question and much less stressful retirement. The spring cleaning version of this, it's simply, do you know what your gap actually is? Because many times people don't know and they're actually just guessing.
And guessing with retirement income has got to be a bad idea.
It is one of the most expensive guesses that you can make. You cannot afford to guess at this. This is one of the critical pillars of any sound retirement plan. When you call us at 504-732-1001, we will map out your income sources. We will identify what the gap is and show you exactly how to cover it. Initial meetings are complimentary. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to start the process of helping you discover this gap and make sure your essential expenses are covered for the rest of your life.
As we're talking about refreshing your income plan, talking about reviewing your tax strategies, we've been talking about checking out your fees, how much you're paying. Are you getting value for what you're paying? So we put all this together, John, and you hear that phrase a lot saying, all right, now let's stress test your plan. And I'll be honest, it sounds a little intimidating, stress testing the plan. What does that actually mean?
Mark, here's what it means. It means asking the uncomfortable questions before life asks these questions for you. Here's the big one. What happens if the market drops significantly right at the start of your retirement? Because that's actually the worst possible timing for a drop, and it's something a lot of people just don't plan for.
So then why is early retirement specifically the worst timing for a market drop?
Mark, this is called the sequence of returns risk. Think about it this way. If you're still working and the market drops 30%, you just keep contributing and you recover. But if you're retired and now you don't have your working income and pulling money out every month, a drop of 30% in year 1 or 2 means that you are now selling shares at the bottom of the market to fund your lifestyle. The portfolio shrinks faster than the market can recover. And once you've sold these shares, they're gone. They're not there to participate when the rebound usually happens.
So you can do everything right your whole career, but still run into trouble just because of when you finally retire.
Timing matters enormously. And this is why stress testing is so important. We actually run scenarios. What does your plan look like if the market drops, let's say 25% in year 1? What if you live to be 95? What if you or your spouse, what if you need long-term care? Mark, we don't try to scare people, but to make sure that the plan has answers to those questions before they could become a reality.
And if the plan doesn't pass those tests, John, then what?
Mark, we get to work. We fix things as much as we can while there is still time. Listen, maybe that means building a 2 or 3 year cash buffer so you're not forced to sell investments during a downturn. Maybe it means repositioning some assets into guaranteed income so the portfolio doesn't have to carry all the weight when the market is down. A plan that only works when everything goes right. It's just simply not a plan.
So, John, how does somebody find out if their plan really passes the stress test?
504-732-1001. We will take your call. We will ask you a few simple questions. We'll get you on the calendar. And when we are able to connect, we'll run the scenarios with your actual numbers and show you exactly where the potential vulnerabilities are. Then how to address them. Initial meetings, complimentary. Let's get together and work on this plan.
You know, let's get practical here for a second. Let's talk about getting organized, because I feel like a lot of people, they have the accounts, they have the documents, but everything's just kind of cluttered and spread all over the place.
Oh, Mark, if I had $1 for every time someone came into the office and dropped a stack of a bunch of paperwork spread out all over the place, I think I'd be a rich man. Listen, here's even the bigger problem than people realize. realize, not just for them, but for their family. Think about it from your spouse's perspective or your children's perspective. If something happened to you tomorrow, would they know where everything is? Would they know which accounts actually exists? Where are the password? Who the advisor is? Where are the insurance policies kept?
I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm speaking for me, and I'm going to say nope.
Mark, most households have one person who handles the finances and one person who doesn't. And when that person is suddenly gone, the surviving spouse is dealing with grief and trying to figure out the financial picture at the same time. That's an incredibly difficult situation that just a little organization could prevent.
Okay. So help me out. I'm feeling a little cluttered, a little unorganized, not really sure where to find everything. What can I do?
I would start with a simple document. Let's call it a master list. Every account, every institution, every login, every insurance policy, every contract, where the will is, who's the attorney, who's the advisor. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to exist and be findable within your household. We have people who digitize the really important documents, put them somewhere where your spouse or a trusted family member can have access to this information.
I feel like I'm kind of calling myself out on this one because this really sounds like something that most people, and by people I mean me, something that we keep meaning to do, but just kind of keep pushing it off, and it gets further and further down the to-do list.
Mark, everybody's busy. Life is noisy. Life is flying by at warp speed. I mean, it's like the classic junk drawer problem. Everybody has one. Nobody wants to deal with it, but spring cleaning, this means actually opening the drawer. And when it comes to your financial life, getting organized is one of the greatest gifts you can give your family. It costs nothing except for a couple of hours, either an early morning or an afternoon, and this situation is fixed.
I got to imagine when somebody comes to see you at Cypress Financial, that's part of the process, pulling everything together.
When you come to Cypress, it's one of the first things we do. We help people get a complete picture of everything they have in one place. And a lot of times, that's the first time they've seen it all together, all laid out in one piece. Pick up the phone. 504-732-1001 or visit us at cypressfinancial.net. Bring what you have and we'll help you make sense of the entire picture.
Real quick, John, for you personally, do you like it more? And if we bring you, I don't want to say cluttered, but just like files of all of our information, or do you like the person who comes in with tabs? I know this is here, this is here, this is here. I know exactly what this is, like overly organized. What fits you better when creating strategies?
Mark, I mean, to be totally honest with you, if we can just get people in the door, bring us the documents. I mean, certainly in a perfect world, everything is organized. But look, that's not priority. Mm-hmm. Priority to our listeners out there. Take the first step. Let us help you organize this. Let us help you get your eyes on it. This is a complimentary service, the Retirement Analyzer. It's got everything in the report, all of your assets, all of your insurance, your tax situation, your tax bracket, all of your expenses. This is a comprehensive financial report that can literally change the entire trajectory of your retirement. 504-732-1001. Don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is right now.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Cypress Financial Group. Cypress Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Cypress Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any reference to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Cypress Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Cypress Financial Group. This radio show is a paid placement.
Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA. Please note it is not possible to invest directly into the S&P 500 index. This measure is provided solely as a gauge of overall market performance. Standard & Poor's, S&P, and S&P 500 are registered trademarks of Standard & Poor's Financial Services, LLC, S&P. The historical performance of the S&P 500 is not intended as an indication of its future performance and is not guaranteed.